What's up, YouTube? So today I'm going to talk about the Googan Baits Trench Hog Junior. So that's the smaller size, and we're going to be fishing with it. And we're going to show how good this bait is. And spoiler, it's good. It's a good bait. Now, I'm not a Googan Baits fanboy. If you're not familiar with a Googan Baits fanboy, you know, there's these small YouTubers out there that, like, all they do is post about Googan Baits and how great they are, and they've probably never even used like other baits. They're so into Googan Baits that, you know, you can't really trust what they're saying. You know what I mean? Like me, I'm not looking to be sponsored by Googan Baits. I'm not really looking to be sponsored by any bait company at all, to be honest. I like using a variety of baits, a lot of different baits. And I will tell you right now, the Googan Baits Trench Hog is a good bait. And so, coming from someone that uses a lot of different baits, isn't looking to be sponsored, that sort of thing, I feel like you can trust what I have to say a little more than maybe some other people. So if you're on the fence about the Trench Hog Junior, well, we're going to show you what it's all about. And if you're new to Real Journey and you want to be part of the Real Journey team, then subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Alright, so I will say that I have used this bait only once recently. I filmed a video. Now, you'll never see that video because the GoPro audio was messed up, but I did catch a giant with the Trench Hog, so I think I should show some of those catches though. And so if we just put some music down in the background, it doesn't matter that we don't have the audio for that. So let me show you some of the catches that we've already made with the Trench Hog Junior. Alright, so that was just like a week or two ago. That big one I caught right in front of Skylar, who was fishing with me. He's been on this channel a number of times. He's my wife's cousin. And that shattered his PB, and I caught it right in front of him. I've shattered his PB probably 100 times right in front of him. So I kind of like doing that, if I'm being honest. Like, as soon as I caught that bass and I held it up, I was like, oh, Skylar, I broke your PB again. And so it's just one of those jokes I have with him, because he catches a lot of small fish. So but this Trench Hog, man, you can catch numbers. You can catch big fish, small fish. A lot of times we think of smaller baits as catches smaller fish. And bigger baits catch bigger fish, but that's not really true. I mean, yeah, your average fish on a bigger bait is probably going to be bigger than your average fish on a smaller bait. But to be honest, I think my 5 biggest fish, like all my bass that are over 7 pounds, have been on smaller baits. I think the biggest bait I've caught a big fish on was like a 5-inch Senko, and that's a normal size Senko. That's not a big Senko. So small baits do work. And actually, even this Trench Hog Junior, it's still, you know, 4 inches big. I actually think the normal size Trench Hog is a little much. It's a little too big. So I do like the size of this Trench Hog Junior, and it works. So let's just get out here, do some fishing, and see if we can catch another giant in this video. That'd be pretty awesome. All right, let's get to it. Heck, I only have 2 left. Oh no, 3 left. They're stacked on top of each other. So I like how Googan Baits does put these in these plastic containers. It protects the baits and everything, keeps them in their shape. So that's nice. I really do like that. You know, there's not really too many companies that do that. Like to rip these apart at the bottom, rip off the appendages. Not rip them off, but disconnect them so that they move in the water. And there you have it. And it's got that good Googan bait smell to it. And the bass seem to like it. So I have 2 rods with me. Both I can use for this, but this rod already has a 3/16 ounce weight on it. And the other rod I have has an 1/8 ounce. I'm going to want to use the 3/16 ounce. I'm going to want to use more weight because these little appendages and the little flanges on the end there creates resistance in the water that makes it the bait vibrate in the water, and it also makes it run like slower and be more resistant in the water. So when that's the case, it helps having a little more weight on there. Oh, got one right here. Second cast. Oh man, it's a good one. Oh jeez, that's a good bass. Second cast. Oh, the bait came off. Dude, he is rolling like he's an alligator. Jeez. Second cast right there. Just walked right up to this corner. Tossed it right there. Nothing. Tossed it right there. Boom. Second cast. Solid bass too. Woo! Gotta like that. There's bigger ones in here, as you already seen. That big one that I caught on this bait last time I fished this bait, the first time I fished this bait was here. So there are some big ones in here. The biggest bass I've caught in here was almost 7 pounds, and yeah. But this pond is weird though. I don't know if I've ever caught more than like 3 bass here. I catch big bass here, but I don't catch numbers, you know. And it is morning though, so they bite usually in the morning. So let's just keep fishing, less talking. Let's see how many we can catch on that Trench Hog. When he was thrashing around on the ground though, that Trench Hog flew off the hook, and I was like, no, because we only have 2 more of them. So hopefully we can catch more than 2 more bass on these last 2. But if not, if they're that big, hey, I don't mind. But let's get back to it. I think this next cast could produce a bass. We'll see though. Oh, got one. Got one. Oh! You know what? I don't think that was a giant bass, so we're going to keep it moving. I lost half a leg. So, yeah, he bit just the end of it. I saw him swirl on it and take it right here on this grass. Because I rolled it right over this grass in the water, and he swirled and took it right here, right after I came out of that grass. Okay, so over here somewhere, there's a tunnel, and I don't see where it is, so I'm just gonna chuck my bait out there and hope that I fish it near it. And there's definitely some big bass that will hang around this tunnel sometimes. Oh, got one. Dude, he freaking just came up and hammered that. That little tiny bass hammered this sucker. I mean, he's not tiny, but compared to that last one, it's not huge. You know? Not a dink. A little bigger than a dink, but not huge. Oh man, we're down to the last bait right now. Oh, just got bit. Got him. He's not big either. Please don't break off. Oh, it broke off. He's actually kind of fat. I don't know if you can tell by looking at him. He's kind of thick and fat for a guy that's not that big, but I wish he didn't break off my last trench hog. Still feels good to catch one though. Woo! Whew, I'm sweating. Doesn't take long in Florida. Speaking of not taking long, I think that was about 10 casts. I just walked right up that bank just a little bit. Made about 10 casts and caught 3 bass. And I told you, I don't catch numbers at this pond. So if I would have had a bunch more Trench Hog Juniors, I think I would have hit my record today. I don't know how many bass I would have caught if I would have kept fishing with that Trench Hog Junior. So I think with this bait, if they're willing to bite, they'll bite. That sucker has good movement. It looks good. The bass will munch on it. I really like this Trench Hog Junior. I've used it twice now, and both times I used it, I just caught fish. Caught big fish, and I caught numbers. I mean, that's what you want in a bait. So I really do like this Trench Hog Junior. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Kraken Crawl and the Kraken Crawl Junior, but this Trench Hog? I don't know, man. This Trench Hog Junior, I think I might like the Trench Hog Junior more than the Kraken Crawl, and I've been a fan of the Kraken Crawl for a long time, so I really like this Trench Hog Junior. I really like it. So, hey, that's my honest review of it. Obviously, though, it's a softer bait. They rip easily. Those bass will shake those baits off. So you will go through more. You will spend more money on more baits. But if you're familiar with like the bait making process and how baits move in the water and stuff like that, you know softer baits have better movement almost all the time. And so when a bait has better movement and stuff, better action, you get more bites. So that's kind of like, it sucks that we're catching these fish and the bait's gone, but it's doing its job. It's catching you the fish. You know what I mean? We had 3 bites, and I had 4 bites. That one grabbed the one of the legs and ripped it off. So, I mean, 10 casts, we had 4 bites. I think 10 casts. I'm just guessing. I wasn't counting, but it seemed like every 2 casts we were getting a bite, which is nuts. That's just nuts. At a pond that I don't catch numbers at. So I don't know, man. I don't have a ton of experience with the bait. I've only fished with it twice, but both times it's been a home run hitter. So I didn't know it was gonna be this good when I fished with it today, but I knew I wanted to fish with it again because of how well it fished the last time for me. And then it honestly, if I would have had more of them, I think it would have just completely outperformed what it did last time. So I gotta fish with this bait more, but right now I gotta say I really like the bait. Maybe you should check it out for yourself. Get a pack, go fishing in one of your ponds that you know there's some big fish or a lot of fish, whatever, you know, and just find out for yourself. And for me, 3/16 ounce is the way to go. As far as rod setup, reel setup, I typically fish a little differently than everyone else, so I'm always reluctant to say what I use. But you know, just I mean, look that up for yourself. Definitely a little stiffer of a rod. As far as length goes, that's going to be what you prefer. I always fish with like a longer rod than most people because I like making longer casts. I like setting the hook better at the end of long casts. I also have tennis elbow, so it helps me set the hook more easily. I love using the Gamakatsu hooks. They're like flimsy but still strong, and you might go, oh, I don't want flimsy. Yeah, but those really thick hooks, those really thick ones, you got to set the hook really hard. There's times where that bass has the bait and it's running, and I just give a quick little boom, and that flimsier hook gets them. That Gamakatsu is really sharp. So those are my tips for it, how to fish it, blah, blah, blah. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, and we're out. Peace.